Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my solo Advanced Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We rejoin our characters. They are on the island. They have managed to, we believe they have managed to escape the temple. Will that be the case? Have they alerted anyone? Have they been able to escape without incident? Last time I did leave them where they were on this island, and I made a sketch map of it. I probably miscalculated the size of the island because when I was looking at my original map, because I think when I was talking I said it's about half a kilometre long, but actually when it came to my scale here, and each of these hexes is 3 miles, so basically it's probably just about 2 miles across. So that would probably make it about 3 kilometers. So if you multiply this by an amount, yes, probably pi or something, you would get to the true size of the island. So I thought as something appropriate, what I should do is actually draw a better picture of the island. And I have done so, and we're going to use this going forward. And because I've got a bit of repeatability with this particular place, the Temple of Darkwater Lake, I thought I should really create a better picture of it. I don't really have a specific name for the island. I just call it the Island of Darkwater Lake. I might come up with something, or maybe that just that's basically what it is. So just as a quick recap of just what is on this island, we've got this largely subterranean temple, which is our ruined temple, and that's forming part of this low hill. It's a blackened, ruined, broken and dilapidated. We've got the remains of a paved road connecting the causeway with the temple, with occasional flights of steps to accommodate the climb upwards to the summit. And it's not a very high summit, it's not a high hill. Right, the causeway, that is probably about 1,000 yards, so it stretches all the way over to the shore. We had quite an eventful crossing of the causeway. We did not want to repeat that, so that was ruled out of our current strategy. The remainder of this island was covered with short, stunted trees, which have dark leaves and barbed branches, and that's what's represented by all these funny little squiggly lines. I didn't really do the standard forest foliage view. I just thought I'd put in these little squiggles to kind of represent that. And the major discovery we made was when we peered through the gloom from here. This what I call our hiding spot, so I've got that marked here, which is probably less like a kind of low cave or something built into the hill. We managed to discern and see a shack, a jetty, and what looks like a barge and a boat. So it seems to be a medium-sized boat which is docked alongside this jetty, and this hut appears to be the only habitation or building nearby. So that was that, and after we'd made this, I suppose this quite fundamental discovery, because we wanted an alternative route to get off this island. Lo and behold, as we were sitting there deciding what to do next and having a bit of a breather, the Andrew Sphinx that we had seen before, the day before, and we had taken cover from, Valmarath the Knowing, he surprised them with his appearance, and he engaged the characters and said that he was looking out for the forces opposing evil in the wilds, and had decided to range up into the north and had detected this site of corruption. So he was really gung-ho, saying, yes, this is what I'm all about. I'm about spreading the good and law, and ridding these places of what I've detected on my radar, this awful ruined temple. This seems to be a focus of evil and nexus in this particular area. And temporarily I am camped out here. And by the way, I have watched your progress and I wish you to return and strike a blow against the enemy. So he has a bit of a vested interest in us, and he was quite vociferous and very loquacious with the characters. We all did lots of riddles and that sort of thing. We kind of impressed him, I think. He was quite taken by us. He felt sorry for our plight. And so we solved his riddle, and so he will help us get off the island, which was music to our ears. And he says that, however, he must leave now. And he leaves us with a note. He says, Anarian, you are a ranger. Fire a single arrow into the sky, and I will know when to come. So he flies off, he circles round the island and heads off to the north. Anarian is prepared. He just says, I hope I don't run out of arrows, but I know what the signal is. Obviously, he has very astute vision. He'll be able to see a missile being fired directly up into the air. He will come and he will help us. So, however, we are probably bound to something that we have to do for this Androsphinx in the future. He was not specific. Let us find out when we see him next. Maybe we can quiz him if he returns. And so that really leaves the characters with a number of options, to get off this island. And we're really going to have to start thinking about the clock, because what we've done is we've left some undiscovered bodies of goblins in this temple complex, and we managed to escape undetected for now. But at some point, someone is going to patrol, or some other creature is going to discover these and maybe raise an alert, and maybe the whole island will be activated. There might be some form of defense system. We don't know. So the clock is ticking. We should really be aiming to try and execute some form of expedient strategy. So let us consider the options, and the characters are up in their hiding spots. I'll just put them, these enormous pawn figures, but they're basically up here, mulling over our options. And looking at our little map, we just get our map in front of us. I'll put these up here so they're not out of the way. So we're here just now. We could take the boat if we manage to seize it and head over to the shoreline here and make our way back to Marchton by going south and striking the road in this hex here. And if I get my master map, you'll see that this is where I should really get all my pieces of paper out beforehand. So on the master map, we're here. If we go south, we've still got quite a bit of territory to get through before we strike this road, and then we shoot up this road to the military road up to Marchton. But it's still a bit of a journey. We're not really as keen on that strategy. The other one is to do the same, but probably land here at the river's mouth, and then actually follow the river back through this countryside, hit the bridge, and get into Marchton that way. And we do notice that Anarian's a bit quiet when we were discussing this particular option, and he says, well, I've come to a bit of revelation, and you will be aware that I know how to sail these type of vessels, and I think that with my know-how and my knowledge of the waters around here, why not use the barge to transport ourselves along the flow of the river and use the lake system and see if that can carry us all the way to the bridge at Marston. And he says, well, we challenge him. We say, well, how do you know this, Anarian? And he says, well, I think that this Darkwater lake is on an elevated basin here. And the river to the south acts as an outlet. So the river that we crossed here was an inlet, because this came from the mountains and it was all full of that ice water. So it was pouring into the lake, but as an outlet, there is this river here, and it goes all the way down to the East Lake. And if we go across the East Lake and down this other outlet, which I believe is the case, because when you see the river, it goes from the east to the west, Marchton, when we cross the bridge. I think we could follow it down. And I can recall that when we were crossing the bridge, there is a small pier down just underneath where I think ships, not ships, but boats are berthed. And they have something to do with the trade between the Long Lake, the East Lake, and I don't think there's anything trade-wise with Darkwater Lake, but if there is, I don't know about it. But it does seem to be navigable, and well, there's only one way to find out. So we think, well, that sounds like a very good idea, and also it would be quite the fastest and most efficient, and potentially the safest, because we wouldn't have to go through basically wilderness-like countryside. We could take the river. Okay, so we all agree that on this strategy that Anarion has given to us, and especially it's compounded by the fact that Valmarath might help us with the propulsion, because he did say that he would use some of his elemental powers to provide some wind in our sail, and he was hinting that he would be able to do that. So we might take him up on that, and he can help. He can give us a bit of a blow or whatever he's going to do. You know, he has a roar, so he's probably going to use his roar, but if you can, you know, maybe just tone it down a bit and not too loud. Or he maybe has some, because he has 6th level clerical spells, I believe. He might have some druidic overlap that is something to do with combining, you know, utilizing the elements, and one of the elements being air. You might be able to control that. So yes, we agree that is the solution. That is what we're going to do. We do have an initial problem, because we still have the problem of the jetty and actually seizing the boat. And whether there's going to be any opposition. And it was hinted by Valmarath that he had been noticing that it was lightly guarded. But even still, our party's quite weakened. We could be putting ourselves at further risk. Maybe this is just the time to roll the dice and see how we get on. Okay, so the party decide from this point onwards, they're going to descend this low hill in order to get within observation range and scout out the position. So Anarion says, well, I think the best strategy for us is to maybe not just do a straightforward full out assault on this, but actually for me to scout it out. And I can use my ranger skills and to the benefit. So for the occasion, because I kind of knew in advance that we were going to be doing this, I have created a little schematic of the situation. So it's nothing grand or anything. It's just basically up here. It looks like there's a boat there. This is the little hut. This is looks like a little road going to the temple. So we descend from our hiding spot, and we're going to adopt a position. We're going to be concealed in, well, as we approach, we're concealed by low stunted trees, and Anarion helps direct us down into this location here. So if we just get a little things on here as we approach, and Anarion's helping us. So he's helping us direct our approach, and we reach the vantage point of a small rocky outcrop, which is here, just before the shoreline. So we're all perched behind this rocky outcrop here, scanning the situation. And it's a bit misty. The observation's not very good. So I've called this the Black Jetty, even though it's a bit brown. It probably looks black in all this mist. It's a rickety pier obscured in swirling mist. There is currently one reasonably sized boat, or you could classify it as a barge, with a sail. So that is ensconced next to this jetty. Unknown to the characters, and this is where we can just go aside a bit and be solo players, it is actually guarded by evil boatmen, and these are degenerate ferrymen who ferry goods to the temple at night. How many boatmen are on watch and in the little hut, which is where they are going to be residing at the shore end, we do not know at this stage. So let's go into action mode. The sky, it's overcast, the visibility impaired by the swirling mist coming in above the dark water. A small lantern is glowing on a hook under a tattered awning outside the hut. The barge floats quietly, tied with thick hemp ropes. So there's these hemp ropes that are kind of keeping it secure to the... And this is a living document that I can update as we play on it. Crates, fishing nets, and butchered goat carcass. So there's a bit of a butchered goat carcass here. There's these nets, and there's maybe some barrels and that sort of thing, just close to the hut. These are all scattered on these planks. A narrow track leads from the jetty back into the woods towards the temple. So that this is the communication route between this point here and the temple. We begin to listen because we're quite close now, and apart from the water lapping in, there's also, we start to pick up some muttered conversation, the clink of knives, occasional laughter. The hut is definitely occupied. Okay, so we've made a bit of our discovery here, and Anarian, with his sharp eyes, he can discern some reeds, patches of reeds at the shoreline. And what Anarian does is he creeps down. He says, I'm going to creep down here. And he gets into the reeds and he gets closer, obscured by the cover this provides. And on closer inspection and peering through a dirty window, so this one window here that he's peering through, he spots that two inhabitants, which seems to be these evil brigands, are sitting on crates, tossing bones and drinking ale, and one is half asleep in a hammock under the awning. So we've got in fact, I will get a little mini floor plan for this. This is a blow up of the hut, and there are a couple. These are the ones that are awake, and there's this one that's in, kind of like a hammock. He's snoring, or he's kind of half asleep. Okay. He also has a dagger on his chest. So interesting little detail. The brigand crew, they're basically what I'm going to have them as. They're going to be three. They're going to be quite low discipline. They're not elite kind of guys. They are also expecting no trouble whatsoever. So this is going to be, anything that's going to happen is going to be a bit of surprise. They haven't had anything like this happen on their island for as long as they can remember. And I've got three of them. I've got the one in the hammock is called Rask. He's lazy. There's this one here, and he's called Dervin, and he's mean. He's drunk. And there's this other chap called Garrig. He's alert, so he's quite sharp, but he's a bit bored. He's thinking, do I have to put up with these awful colleagues? I just can't stand it. I want to get back to my brigand cell, get back with the boys, and not these two lazy pairs. This mean one, and he's lazy all the time. He's always asleep. snoring. So obviously Anarion can't really pick up on the vibe there, but he does see that there are 3. And what he does is he sneaks back to report. So he comes back up. He says, well, there are 3 brigands inside. 2 seem active. 1 is dozing in a hammock. Let us quickly decide our strategy. We need to strike while the iron is hot. That sounds like good advice, says Dagobert. What are our options? Well, we could do direct assault and force entry, surprising the occupants. That's option 1. We could lure the brigands out with a distraction and then maybe shower them with missiles and then rush the survivors. I suppose that does have the chance that maybe they will arm themselves before they come out. And then the final one, which is probably the nuclear option, which is set the hut on fire, but risk attracting attention on the rest of the island. And that's probably, maybe that's more of a Tristan thing. And he's being quite vociferous now because he's starting to feel slightly better. He hasn't really been doing too much combat, so and his wounds they have been very well bound by Adland, and he's given this suggestion. They say, Tristan, good one, but let's put that one on hold. I think it's going to be either option 1 or 2. I think Dagobert says, well, who have we got combat power wise to take these individuals on? I don't want to risk you, Adlin. You have only got 1 hit point left. He doesn't say it like that, but he says you have a wound. And you other 2, and we've got Lindris, who's out of action, and we've got Tristan, who's out of action. That only really leaves Anarion and myself. I think we might be forced to do the lure the brigands out. And then Anarion, if you get surprised, you can do your amazing missile fire and see how long you can actually take these, whether you can take these brigands out with a few shots. That sounds like a good thing. If we had loads and loads of time, we could wait, Adlin, and you could recharge your sleep spell, but we're not going to be able to do that. I think it's down to us two to maybe take these characters out. And I think the strategy that we're going to employ is that with these 2 available resources, if we have the other characters watching, hiding behind these bluffs up here, they are not going to commit themselves into combat. However, Adelind will probably be placed to maybe run down and maybe help any of our other 2 characters that maybe run into some form of distress. Maybe need their wounds bound, but let's hope. Let us keep our fingers crossed that the characters manage to employ a good strategy that ensures a surprise, and Arian can use his amazing repeating weapon abilities with his missile. So Anarion takes the lead. They move into the rushes as they approach. And what Anarion says is, I have a bit of a ploy I have been thinking about. I can speak Goblin. I'm going to try to impersonate one of the goblins from the temple. And I'm going to say, wake up, you lazy brigands. Come out and help me with this, something to do with the temple. Maybe help me with this barrel. Let's see if that brings them out. And they might not come out as if they were suspicious. They'd be expecting maybe a goblin to come down. And Dagobert says that is a good idea. And what I will do is I will move across and I will stand at the side of the door. And what you can do, Anarion, is you can fire missiles and I can maybe stand. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll maybe move to this wall here, not get too into your line of fire, and just wait round the corner, and anyone that is staggering towards you, I will be able to strike them with my mace and come and give them a bit of a surprise if they come around this corner. So he says, well, this sounds like a good strategy. So what I'm going to do is maybe just kind of blow this up a bit. So we've got our 3 brigands in the hut. We've got Anarion with his bow ready to shout out in Goblin, and we have Dagobert just perched at the corner of the hut, This is where the window is, this is where the door is, this is where another window is, this is where the hammock guy was, this is where the alert one was, and this is where the mean drunk is. Anarion, he shouts out in Goblin, "Come out, you lazy brigands. I've got a barrel, I need some help here." And you hear a bit of a commotion inside. I'm going to roll a dice and see whether they think that this is credible or not. So I'm going to do a bit of an oracle, and if it's a 1 to 3, they are suspicious, and if it's a 4 to 6, they have heard this all before, and they kind of come out and give a good shout to this goblin, and they're not really suspicious. So a 4 to 6, so they are not suspicious. Okay, so I'm going to have probably the more alert one, and he's going to come to the door, and he's going to open the door, and he's saying, who's there? Who's come to, I can't even see you. So I think we're in a position to maybe do a bit of a surprise calculation. So Anarion, ordinarily, he's only surprised on a 1 in 6. So I'm going to do that as the case. And in fact, I'm going to say that he has not got any chance of being surprised at all, because he is basically hiding away, and we are ambushing these characters. So let's rule out the chance of our characters being surprised, because, you know, if these are maybe had been suspicious, maybe they might have deviantly moved to the window, or they might have had almost like a defensive strategy that we're not aware of. However, that is not the case. So the lazy one is still in his hammock. The mean drunk one is maybe starting to stagger across, and he's feeling quite mean, and he doesn't like goblins very much. Maybe he wants to give a bit of backup to his comrades here, Garrig. So this is Dervin, and good old Orask is still basically, he's almost nodding off, and he hasn't heard anything. So I'm going to say that there's no chance of us being surprised. However, there is quite a good chance of these brigands being surprised. And maybe the longer Anarion waits, it might be better. So if we could say that he's going to have a positive chance of surprise, we could maybe, he would ordinarily surprise these brigands on a 1 to 3. I'm going to say that because he's ambushing them, I'm going to add on at least either 1 or 2, and I'll roll a d6 to see what. So he's going to add on 1. So 1 to 4, he is going to be able to surprise them. So I think that's probably worth it if we can do that. And let's see if we can surprise these brigands. I was thinking maybe what you could do is maybe just get them more further out so that you could actually shower them with arrows, but I think he really just wants to try to riddle one completely and maybe reduce that from the number of opponents. So 1 to 4 is what we're looking for. Oh dear. So we do not surprise. So that means we're going to have to just basically go back to initiative. So I have got my work cut out with me with these characters. We've not really got the breaks there, so let's just move these up, and we're going to have to start doing a bit of combat. Anarion is at short range. He's got a bow. We can use our see who gets initiative between the two. We haven't been able to get surprise, which is a bit of a shame, so we'll just roll for initiative. We do get initiative. We're in white, so we get initiative. We beat the brigands. Anarion can at least loose off 2 arrows at this character here before he can do anything and respond. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to get my little combat tables out, and I've got my monster manual, and these classify as brigands. So they're basically chaotic evil bandits. And the stats for them are, they are hit dice, 1 to 6 hit points, and so they're less than 1 hit dice, and they are a number of attacks, 1, and weapon. So I'm going to say that they're probably armed with short swords, the majority, or maybe kind of club. We'll do it on an individual basis. I haven't really decided what they're going to be armed with. It does suggest it down here, but that's more for like a kind of military outfit. And their armor class, I'm not going to say that they've really got very good armor on at all. It's probably just some form of light leather armor. So in the player's handbook, right, light leather armor, I think is armor class 8. So armor class 8 is leather and padded. So let's just work out what this particular character, he's called Garrig. He's the one that's a bit more alert. He's going to have 1 to 6 hit points. He has 4 hit points. And he's armor class 8. Okay, so Anarian has his short bow. He can, it's a rate of fire of 2. It's at short range, so there's no penalty. He is a level 1 fighter. Level 1 fighter against armor class 2. Armor class 8, sorry, is 12. So he needs a 12 or more. And is there any weapon adjustments that we can do for an arrow, a bow, short, composite against armor class 8? Oh, he gets a +2. So yeah, it's a good chance of penetrating. So he needs a 10 or more, and he has 2 chances of hitting poor old Garrig. Let's see how he gets on. So the first one, 20. Yes. A mighty, does this go straight into Garrick's forehead as he comes out? Where's that goblin? Vroomf. So let's just do it. 1 to 6. Will he be able to slay Garrig with one shot? No, he doesn't. So Garrig has maybe it's got hit him in the arm or something. He goes down to 3. And another one, we need a 10 or more with his second bow shot. Oh, another 20. Wow. Good old Anarian. He's doing some great stuff. We're going to do 1 to 6 points of damage. Let's find out how he gets on. 5. He has slain Garrig. Garrig did not last for too long. He was alert, but not alert enough. So lights out Garrig. So that's going to leave Dervin, the drunk one. So at least we've managed to destroy one of our major opponents, which was probably the more alert brigand. So he has been slain. This leaves Dervin, who starts staggering towards. Does he realize that his colleague Garrig is being I would say on a 1 to 4, he realizes that there is something going on, and he really has to shake himself out. So he does. He thinks, right, there's something going on here. This isn't a goblin. What's happening? And he starts to draw his little. Maybe he's got like a. I think what would be an appropriate. Maybe a short sword he has got at his side, and he starts to draw that, and he shouts. He says, "Rask, you lazy scoundrel! We're being attacked. You know, Garrig's bought it." And he can see. And he's saying, "Oh, you're just being drunk." But he falls out of his hammock and he thinks, "Whoa, there's something going on, something afoot." And he starts to move towards the door. So he is stumbling out, and he sees the glint of Anarian's bow. He sees his fallen comrade, Garrig, lying there with 2 arrows, basically placed straight, one in his forehead and one in his arm. He is in a bit of shock. He's not got enough ability enough chance to engage with any of our characters. Dagobert is waiting with his mace. So I think we're on to another turn. Dagobert is going to wait, and he's not going to use anything. He's not going to do anything. He is just going to bide his time and use a bit of surprise. So if any of these characters move towards Anarian, because they've got it in basically a triangulation, Dagobert is going to leap out and thump the whoever it is over the head. So let us roll for initiative and find out what is going to happen. So we've got the black and the white. We have the white. So Good old Anarian, he can actually do a couple of shots again. This is quite amazing. His bow is very good, and it's going to be the same situation. Driven is going to be armor class 8. He has his short sword. How many hit points has he got? So let's find out. 1 to 6. He's only got 2 hit points. So come on, Anarian. You need 10 or more to hit this brigand. As he runs towards you, screaming, you get an 11. So you can do 1 to 6 points of damage. You do 5 points of damage. Yes, that is a very good thing. So he is slain. Driven didn't last too long. At least he went out in a kind of drunken haze. He did not suffer. Driven is slain. This other character who's fallen out of his hammock, old Rask, he's lazy. He's been basically semi-comatose. He stumbles towards the door, and I think good old Dagobert, it's what he's going to do is he's just going to step forward and he's going to try to thump him. But before that, we do have a missile chance, because Anarian's only used one of his rate of fire. So he's going to say, hold off a second, Dagobert. This is the order of play. Missiles go first. I'm going to try to give him a shot and see if I can finish him off with one shot. He gets a 9, so he misses. So that's a bit of a shame. We have Dagobert. He can move forward. He's going to try to thump this individual. And he's got his military mace, and a cleric against armor class 8 on our combat tables is going to be, here we go, against armor class 8. He needs a 12 or more. And a military mace against armor class 8 is a mace. Where's the mace? Mace, footman's mace, armor class 8. He just misses out. So he needs a 12 to bash this individual over the head. He misses. So this character is, he's still coming round. So I'm going to give him a bit of a penalty on anything he needs to hit. But he does have a chance of maybe trying to strike at Dagobert. He has a dagger because he had a dagger on his chest. He has no other weapon. He's not been able to grab one. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to attack Dagobert. And Dagobert's armor class is, I've got it on my little note. He is dressed in his new chainmail and shield. So he is going to be quite defended. Is it going to be enough to stop him getting skewered by a dagger? I have got my monster table, so he is up to 1 to 1 minus 1. Dagobert's armor class is 4. It needs 17. I'm going to penalize him by 1. He needs an 18 or more. Will the snoozy one, the sleepy one, old Rask, manage to stab Dagobert? He doesn't. So that is the end of that combat round. So let's determine the initiative and see who goes first. So we go first again. And would it be better for Anarian just to say, Dagobert, fall back? Yes, that's what I will do. I will fall back and just get out of the way so that you can dispatch him with your bow. So a 10 or more. 13. How much has Rask got in the tank when it comes to hit points? 1 to 6. He's only got 1. So that is automatic. So he is slain by a bow shot. He is killed. So hurrah, the characters have won. We can move back to real time. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to mop this situation up, and I'm just going to freeze the frame, and then I'll return with the other characters. Obviously quite happy now. They can come down from that bluff. Okay, so our characters, they have been triumphant. They have slain the 3 brigands. The other characters, they move down from this bluff. Adeline first, leading on with the other two, limping away, come up towards the reeds, and they go, "We watched that from the from our perch up overlooking this hut. We were very impressed with your bow skills, Anarian. Once again, you have saved the day. Dagobert, you did try, but maybe just leave it down to the accuracy of the bow in this instance." And he says, "Well, yes, I did. I provided moral support." Okay, so we get onto the actual jetty. We're not going to waste time searching a hut, a shack. It's probably not going to have anything of any value in it. So we've subdued the brigands. We untie and cut the mooring ropes, and we use poles to push the boat off. So it's a bit of a tight squeeze, this one. It's not really to scale, obviously, but you get the idea. And once inside the barge, we find 1 to 4 empty crates. So I can do 1 to 4. We've got 1 empty crate. There's a barrel of oil and a long boat hook, which we can use as a spear if needed. And then a bit more of a search, because Tristan is thinking, well, is there any nooks and crannies I can look into? And he finds a hidden purse, which is obviously from all the wrongdoings that these individuals have been up to, with 1 to 6 gold pieces in it. So 1 gold piece for your troubles, Tristan. I will add that to the little pile of items that we have managed to get from Darkwater Lake. We have not really done a massive treasure haul on this adventure, but if you can take it as a kind of recon action, we've been quite successful. Let's see if we can escape now. We're moving off in our little boat out into the lake. So once the barge drifts into open water, I'm going to employ what I call my escape dice. And if I roll a 1 on a d4, we are going to have an event occurring. So it might not be away yet. We might have an event. So if I roll a 1 on this dice, we are going to have an event. So I rolled a 2. And for the events that I did have, if we'd had one, I could have had 1, which was fog thickens, and we could be lost on the lake. 2, there would be a distant horn, and the pursuit begins. So someone has alerted in the temple, and we could have goblins swarming out and maybe chasing us. However, they don't seem to have any form of transport. They are limited. They just have to shoot us from the shoreline. 3, the water grows shallow, and there are some hidden sandbanks that we're not aware of, and we might have to use Anarian skills to manage to navigate that. Or 4, this is probably the most sanguine. An old corpse floats past with a message cylinder. So I could have planted a nice little adventure seed there, but we have escaped that. So that is the situation. And with the conditions being okay, I'm going to say that we can maybe try to summon the Androsphinx, summon Valmarath. So the lake is basically dead calm, and what we're going to need is probably some wind power. And there is some details in the Dungeon Master's Guide about what this boat's going to be like and how fast it moves. So I've got it here when it comes to movement. Yeah. And it's all got stuff about waterborne adventures. And it's got this craft here. And I think it's probably going to be a barge small. So it's probably about 20 foot long, and it's probably about 12 foot wide. And it can take, I think it take about 10 people in it. It's maximum, it has a sail. So a barge small can, with its sail, and a strong breeze move at 3 miles per hour. So, taking that on board, let's see how useful Valmorath will be in getting off this lake and trying to execute our plan of getting back to Marchton via the river and lake system. So let's just get my little map in sight again with our little boat. So we've got to try and traverse all this region here. Okay, so let's see how we get on. So Anarion, he gets his short bow ready. He fires an arrow directly up into the sky. A few minutes later, the shape of Valmorath is seen. He's flapping his wings above the boat, and he roars down, "I can give you assistance now. However, it might be prudent if I were to wait for a short time, because what I intend to do is give one of my mighty roars and blow wind into your sails. So throw me up your hemp rope. I will tie it around myself, and I will pull you towards the along with my on this road further from the island, and then I can assist you with this magical wind when we are in safer waters away from the island." And that's what he does. We managed to throw the rope up. He ties it around himself. He pulls the boat with his great visage, his great form, his flapping wings out into the lake, and there what he does is he says, "I am now going to breathe into your sails, and you will be able to, with a mighty roar," and he says, "I shall press the breath of dawn against your sail. Your vessel will glide where the water has forgotten how to move. Rest beneath my wings. Let the dust of the first sun mend your wounds." And we do immediately feel better. It's almost like he's dropping little dusts of healing upon our other two characters. They almost like fall asleep into kind of slumber. And I'm going to rule that maybe they have a slightly accelerated healing because of this magical powers that he is exuding. But hear this, all boons demand their echo. You will bring me what was stolen, or the balance shall turn its face from you. He then leaves, and he says, "Remember, I shall call on you in the wild." And what he has done is he has managed to direct us in this direction here. And what he's done is he's blown in the sail, and we can now proceed at a good steady rate of 3 miles per hour. And we will continue with this almost like this phantom breeze in our sail. So we're feeling great. Anarion is showing his prowess. His ranger skills has been transferable skills to his almost semi-maritime nautical abilities. We're off. And the boat, as I've said, is going to travel 3 miles per hour. And if we go back to the time that we spent on this island, we were at 2:10 when we left the temple. And I would say that we spent about another hour or so on the island doing all the other stuff, which is basically moving away from the temple, finding the hiding spot, seeing the jetty, having our conversation with Valmorath, moving down, scouting out, having the little combat, another hour to get the ship out. I keep calling it a ship, the boat, out into the lake. So it's now, I'm going to say, about 3:15, just round it. And on our hex map, it's about 2.5 hexes, 2.5 miles. 2.5 hexes to the East Lake. So if we go, that's probably about half there. That's one, and that's another. So that's 2.5, say, to get to there. 1.5 hexes from the east leg to Marchton, so here. So I'm going to say that that's probably going to be about 4 hours travel. And if we look at the encounter charts, and the terrain that we are going through, I don't know if we actually trigger anything encounter-wise when we were going through these locations. Let's just see whether we are going to trigger anything. Here we go. So, and we're in the evening, so we're not in plain. Now we're probably noon because it's still the afternoon. The evening starts maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I would say that we're still in the noon, and it's only forest, hills and marsh that do that. So we're not really doing anything like that. We're going through, this is basically, that is desert. It's our version of desert in the Northern Marches. That's the plains. These are hills here, but we're not going through at that stage. Yeah, I would say that we're okay. We're not going to have an encounter. Good. So based on my calculations of saying that's going to be about 4 hours travel, we're probably going to arrive at the bridge around about 7 o'clock, or just on the back of 7 o'clock. So that's what we'll do. We moor the boat. We managed to find a jetty on the riverside, just at the bridge at Marchton. It is guarded by a couple of boatmen, and they are sitting in a small watch hut. And they go, oh, yeah, and they do actually recognize us because we have become individuals of note in Marchton. And they go, oh, Master Dagobert, you have returned. We were not expecting you to come in such a flamboyant fashion, on a barge. And where did you get this from? And he says, enough questions. I do not have the time. I'm sure if I was not so weary, I would answer you. But we yearn to get back to the Green Dragon Inn, and have a fine meal. We have been adventuring. This is a boat that we have taken from some brigands, some evildoers. We have taken it as contraband. This has been impounded by the keep. I will claim it on their behalf. Can you look after it? Can we berth it here? And they say, of course, Master Dagobert. That it will be so. So I'm just going to say we've arrived back at Marchton. I think what I want to do is maybe just stop it there, because I really want to try to build more up to the getting back to the Green Dragon, because we haven't been in the Green Dragon. It feels like for months. To these characters, it's only a couple of days, but it does seem like a long time. And it'd be quite nice to just kind of reintroduce ourselves. And we've still got to get through one of these saucy knaves at the gate, get through that, and get back into the Green Dragon. Fredegar, good old Fredegar, and all his staff. And then some of the individuals in it, and we can get my good old admin stuff out. So let's just have a little think before we cut off in this particular episode. I've got this thing here. I can do all my schedule again. We can do all the things like the entertainer and who's coming later on in the week, that type of stuff. That'd be good. So basically, considerations for the next session and back in the Green Dragon. I'm going to let's just maybe jot this down. I am going to need an admin session, which don't panic. It's not going to be just like number crunching before you. It's basically just going to run through some of the exciting things that have happened, and go try to run through any developments that have happened. I've got the experience calculations I've got to do, so that might actually open some eyes. Some of our characters must be getting towards second level, surely. And remember, I was bringing in that little minor bonus where, based on the longevity of their adventuring, they get some small increases too. So that will accumulate as well. And then I'm going to work out what's been going on and seeing what has changed in Marchton and the Green Dragon while they have been away. So that is really getting me through this this sheet, this schedule here. I can get a bit of an update on that. And also we can report back to the keep. So we've got the Green Dragon, the schedule of events. We've got the keep, and reporting to Jasper. Remember Jasper? I'm always forgotten. And Lord Seaward, good old Lord Seaward, or Sean Connery analogue. The results of our mission and whether we've made any discoveries. And on that point, interesting information. And I would say, if you think about it, that Androsphinx is a discovery, because he could be a major player on the side of lore, unless Lord Seaward and his minions already know about this, but he could be a new player that we have discovered, and we have, by our own little ways, our own little interest that he has shown, maybe become allies of him too, and we could maybe recruit him into the fold of Lord Seaward. That would be a major boon for us. We could maybe get a good reward. And also we had to remember in the temple itself, we had discovered an iron key. So that was quite a discovery. We don't know what that actually leads to, but it did seem of significance. And just on the actual ruined temple and our adventure in it, which has covered quite a number of episodes, we have the findings of the temple. So we could do a bit of a download and perform a bit of a debrief and summarize our exploration there, what treasure and discoveries we've made, and any thoughts on future threads inside that temple. And we did leave particularly with one of that last corridor that we were in. If I just get my little map. My little map here, this one here, where the Crypt of the Waiting Dead, and we discovered this spiral staircase going down. This is very significant, I would say. We didn't, if you look at it, we didn't really do too much in it. We didn't really encounter too much, actually discover too many rooms or actual real estate inside this dungeon. But boy, there was a lot of activity packed into all these rooms. So I think as a minor thing, I think my thematic and atmosphere mechanic probably paid off. It managed to generate a lot of richness in these. I have been doing like my Appendix A adventures, and I've covered a lot of territory, and I've maybe not had as much richness, but then it had a different vibe. Basically, get through the dungeon, kind of a bit more old-fashioned, old-school style. This I've tried to indulge a bit and put a bit more detail, and I'm kind of layering over some narrative. It's difficult to say. I like both. I've really enjoyed this experience as much as I enjoy the Appendix A one. But I think I have probably discussed enough. There's plenty that we can maybe just go over and reflect on in the next episode. That is what I wish to do. So our characters, they have got back to Marchton. Green Dragon awaits. The lights of Marchton are on. They are free of the dread of being isolated in that terrible temple, that terrible drumming noise, with two characters that are basically down. We could have been in a lot of problems. I think we've made a bit of a lucky escape there. The characters are not going to forget this experience or take it for granted in the future. Okay, right. Well, I hope you are keen to join me in the next episode, and we'll find out where the characters go from there.